What is biohacking exactly?
So biohacking, it's in the word. Bio means life, and then hacking is basically reverse engineering. So reverse engineering life and figuring out the areas in life that need improvement. So for example, okay, you go out partying and you drink, you get dehydrated. Okay, well, what's the formula to rehydrate? What's the formula to detox? What's the formula to make sure that your kidneys are healthy? Perfect. That's a biohacking cycle. Okay, you want to go into a situation whereby you want to reduce cortisol levels and you want to reduce stress. Okay, well, maybe you want to just jump into the cold plunge a couple times a week so it spikes your cortisol levels, and then you can throughout the day be very stoic or very mellow or calm-minded when it comes to making decisions.
Yeah.
Or you want to detox in general and just hit up the sauna with infrared and be in a good situation there. Learn some grounding, learn about a fluoride inside of the water that calcifies a part of your brain known as the pineal gland, and which kind of dumbs you down, makes you stupid, and doesn't let you develop your awareness.
Yeah.
So biohacking is about reverse engineering life and figuring out how to optimize it for peak performance.
So the best way as possible.
Correct.
Yeah, it makes sense. Do you like challenges and stuff like that? Because just before this podcast, earlier today, I'm going to tell people how this podcast was come about. Luke said, let's go for breakfast and then jump out of a plane, right? That's the most random thing anyone can ever do. And for you to jump out of a plane, we were talking about this off camera before. The first time you jumped out of a plane and done skydiving was 3 days ago. Such a spontaneous decision for you to do. I want to know your thought process as to why to do these things. Is it to challenge yourself and face fears? Because you mentioned you got a fear of heights, or is it just something that was on the bucket list?
Just because you're afraid of something doesn't mean you're going to neglect yourself from experiencing it. And you'd be surprised. You jump from the sky, and like I told you, if you're in a roller coaster situation and you're looking down and you have that G-force gravity just shoot you straight down, your entire gut's going to fucking go up and you're going to feel that crazy sensation. But when you're jumping out of a plane, you kind of glide your way down, right? So it's not like this idea of you're just straight falling, you're gliding. And the surreal experience is all your problems, all your difficulties, all your challenges, for the next 45 seconds, they don't exist. It's just you in the sky experiencing flying in the basically whatever form that exists and doing dope shit. Life is about experiencing life. I don't want to neglect myself from experiences. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go do crack cocaine and go sleep with a prostitute, right? By no means. But what it does mean is that I'm going to be in a situation where I want to experience healthy things. I've gotten to the place in my life where thankfully I have enough money where I can experience these things.
You can do so, yeah.
So it's like, why wouldn't I? Why would I neglect myself from experience? Because I'm a little bit scared. I'm like, okay, I go to my instructor. How many jumps have you done, bro? 23,000 jumps.
23,000 jumps.
So I'm like, okay, like I'm in good hands. The likelihood of him dying on this jump is pretty minimal.
Yeah.
So let me just jump out of the plane.
Was the thought ever in your head of like, what if?
No, who gives a fuck? I told my girl, and I told my brother, hey, my crypto keys are yours. If anything ever goes south.
If I don't come off of this plane.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Damn, man. Damn, that's crazy.
But we're going to jump.
We're going to jump.
It's going to be a good experience this week.
I'm going to think about that one still.
No, you can't think about it. You just have to jump. That's the whole point. And then you're going to experience one of the most blissful experiences in existence.
So I was just going to ask you this. So obviously there was fear going up there for yourself, yeah? As you had landed now, parachutes always come out, you've gone on the ground. What was it? Amazing feeling? Or
amazing feeling. Yeah. Because it's a blissful experience that how many people in human history, not nowadays because it's quite common, but in human history can say, hey, I was flying in the sky. Very rare, 13,000 feet up in the air. Yeah. It's an incredible experience. Anybody that has, fear of heights or is insecure, double thinking about it, consider it. Face your fears. I mean, most of the incredible things in life, whether it's in business or in your existence, they're on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
They're on the other side of doubt. They're on the other side of that, that anxiety that's holding you back. And a lot of it is just, the fight or flight response that we kind of attribute to surviving. And the reality is that a lot of it is just an illusion.
Yeah, man. I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine not too long ago, but we was talking about something along the lines of we're so accustomed to the fact that we have fears and we're just constantly running away from them and we're not facing them straight up. And if we did, where would our lives be? For example, jumping out of a plane is one of them, but that now you just face the fear of heights, or tackling a business problem might have been a fear of something. But now when you face it straight on and you tackle it, where can that lead you? So I brought this up to the point of the fact that when you face these obstacles in life, how much further does it actually get you? Because I'm sure you probably had many obstacles in your life as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that the highest points of return are always in the highest points of risk. Like high risk, high reward situations. I remember last year I told my community, hey, I'm rotating my entire crypto portfolio out of crypto. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? This was previous to the bull run. And I'm investing 10% of my net worth into meta stock when it was at less than $100. Now it's at $500, right? So people are, shitting on Meta and saying, hey, they're investing too much money into the metaverse and losing money. It's like, okay, what do you think? Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know how to play a chart? Do you think he doesn't know how to persuade people and use the right keywords and say AI when the AI boom is happening in order to spike the charts? And so mass market frenzy, mass market panic. That's when the best opportunities are found. You need to be able to do what the 99% are not willing to do in order to have what the 1% have.
Yeah, that's an incredible statement right there. And you must be analyzing risk and opportunities every single day, right?
It's all of it is risk reward ratio. Everything is risk reward ratio. I don't gamble, right? I don't go to the casino. One is because the odds are always against me.
Yep.
Two is because it's either an all or nothing type play. I'm not saying, certain things like roulette or poker where you have a situation where you can kind of manage your portfolio, or blackjack, but it tends to be a zero sum game. Like if you miss that gamble, you lose your entire chips. In the markets, you can play spot positions and your market portfolio may go down 10%, 20%, 30%. Doesn't mean you're going to liquidate your portfolio. I always tell people never use leverage, just because leverage is a situation that is another form of gambling.
Everyone says use leverage. People I talk to, they all say, yeah, leverage.
Yeah. I mean, I would never recommend it because that's a very easy way to go broke and a very easy way to determine and build a bad habit. There's 3 ways that a person can go broke. A man can go broke in life: leverage, liquor, and ladies.
I was just gonna say the ladies one for sure.
So you need to be able to control those 3 aspects. You need to be able to control addictions. You need to be able to control your gambling and your risk, and then you need to be able to control your.
So you said right there, liquor. Now Dan says you mentioned that you don't drink.
I don't drink.
How long for?
Many years.
And that's purely because you just want the whole mindset.
It's my biohacking kind of, and I'll indulge in certain things, but it's just not. I don't like how it makes me feel personally. I don't like being out of control. I don't like being in a situation. If I can be happy without alcohol. Yeah. People are like, I need alcohol in order to party. Do whatever you want.
I've said that the whole.
It's your body. It's your thing. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you also have to look at the fact that not every alcohol. It's first of all, it's poison, right? So your body's you're just fucking yourself up. So if your form of having fun is to inject yourself with poison and to, be drinking poison, okay, like perfect. That's just something that an idiot would do. Yep. So if you want to be an idiot, like that's fine, like respect. But just know that you're an idiot. Like it is what it is. And I remember I was with Tristan Tate and we were drinking, right? We were drinking and like it was crazy. It was a crazy day, but I was in a situation whereby it was like, okay, like it was in the moment. I was in for it. I think that was the last time I drank, actually. It was a couple of years ago. Yeah, I got fucked up with Tristan.
You went to the house, right?
Yeah. It was a good time. Yeah. Good guys.
How did you meet them?
Online. So Tate had some issues with his social media presence. So he would come to me and I would kind of facilitate some services that would enable him to remain online. Yeah. And we just built a business relationship. We did business online, and as work rolled around, I was hosting an event in Albania with the head of the central bank for Capital Club. He hit me up and he's like, hey, come over. And I'm like, okay, let me take my cameraman. It was the first vlog I created. Luke Belmar visits Andrew and Tristan Tate.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah.
Did over 3.3 million views. And I'm like, hey, maybe I just do this content thing. So ever since then, I kind of been rolling.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. How many, like from you coming online and having a social presence, doors must have just been opening left, right, center for you, right? Yeah. Tell me about that sort of experience.
Influence.
It must have made you richer as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, my portfolio now in crypto, just from like deals, is over 20 million.
What do you mean deals? Like just partnering with coins?
Yeah, not partnering with coins. It's projects being like, hey, we need advisory when it comes to distribution of content, when it comes to marketing, and we want to invest in your systems, and we want to invest in learning these things. So they're willing to pay a lot of money because they have a lot of money. Yeah. But I don't do any of these like, I'm not for sale, right? Yeah. You can't pay me to tweet, or you can't pay me to talk about something. Just It's not how I work. I don't need the money.
Yeah.
But the opportunities have come in multiple formats, whether it's connections, whether it's just building phenomenal relationships with followers, just a lot of smart people, being able to hire people that want to come and work for me simply because they know I'm around, or simply people willing to pay for the skills that I've developed simply because I'm readily available on the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm the path of least resistance for them to learn that skill. So it's been working out extremely well.
Another thing you said there was the fact that an addiction can also be in the form of ladies, right? Now, I've never had a issue with this or a problem with this, and I understand that you also have a girl, right? But have you ever seen men on their downfall purely because of women?
Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
They're a distraction. Many times they're a distraction. But just like, to women, men can be a distraction. Women can be a distraction to men. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they utilize their time, energy, and attention towards pursuing short-term relationships or, in order to gratify their sexual desires. And even though I sympathize with it and I completely agree, it's also a distraction. So if you want to pursue your fullest potential, you can't be out here sharing your time and your energy with toxic relationships, with one-night stands. It simply doesn't work. I've been with my girl for over a decade, ever since I was broke. And she would drive me to work, So we built a really good relationship, a good friendship, great bond. And, I don't need, there's plenty of beautiful women in the world. You'd be surprised, the DMs are full of girls all the time hitting you up. But
Especially if you're traveling around the world, yeah.
But what is it that they want? And that's at the end of the day, like,
the lifestyle.
Do you want me to pay for your lifestyle? Do you just want me to take you on a trip? It's never something to give to me. It's very much a selfish hook towards something that they want. So I'm not entertaining any of that. It's not my cup of tea. And I know a lot of people like to do their, red pill, go sleep around with a new woman every single day, and that's their lifestyle. They can do whatever they want. I've just been able to hone in my craft, focus on developing myself, and that's why at the age of 28, I'm farther than most men will ever get.
No, I rate that, bro. And being with one woman, I rate that highly as well, because I'm not on that red pill thing of go sleep around with different women and all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, you're Christian, right?
I'm a follower of Jesus. I don't like using the label Christian because, different people have different perspectives with Christianity. Yeah.
So I'm a Muslim, and we believe as well, shouldn't be sleeping around and all that sort of stuff and anything. So I kind of want, it's kind of almost like personal advice, but I'm pretty sure there'll be other people asking as well. When you've got a woman by your side throughout your entrepreneurship journey, how do you make that last? And how do you make that, in the times when you're busy and you've got so much shit to do, you're traveling the world or whatever the case may be, how do you make sure that relationship still lasts? Because there are women out there who'll be like, Luke, spend more time with me, do this, do that, we never go out, blah, 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 the whole lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You want your woman to want you, So first of all it's
not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Most women, they don't want all of your time, but women need to be constantly reassured that they matter. So you could go and hang out with your girl for 20 minutes and give her full undivided attention instead of taking her to the movies, spend 6 hours and think that that's building a relationship. Women want to be reassured that they are important in your life, and they want to fight for that first place. That's a woman that actually cares. 2 is communication and boundaries. As much as I love my girl, I have things that I need to do, right? So there's different priorities at different times. And that's what most people haven't come to realize, is that even in a marriage, even in a long-term relationship, priorities change. If you're broke, cuddling and watching Netflix on the couch shouldn't be your priority. Why? It's not because it's a bad thing to do. It's because it's not the right thing. And a good thing at the wrong time becomes bad. Yeah. So the goal is to understand how to shift priorities. If you're on a date and you're having a good time, don't be on your phone because it's just rude. Be fully there, be fully present. But when you're grinding and you're working, hey babe, not right now. We'll connect later. Yeah, priorities work. Yeah, and you establish communication. And you'd come to realize a lot of women are more level-headed in understanding than you would imagine, but you also have to go through that process of having that communication and having that relationship that's built on trust. Yeah. 2 is there's no sort of insecurity or no sort of doubt when I'm traveling, doing my thing as to what I'm doing. Right? Because I'm very straightforward as to my belief system.
Full trust.
Exactly. And it goes 2 ways. So communication, transparency, and being able to realign different priorities at different times as the world shifts and as different needs arise.